Hello everyone. We're going to take a look at some Ray Harryhausen monster figures. These are the line called the Ray Harryhausen Film Library figures by X Plus. And these were sold starting in 2001. I'm not sure exactly how they were originally sold. I never saw them new. I don't know if they were sold in retail outlets or high-end, like only through mail order. I'm not really certain, but I found all of these not that long after they came out. Maybe, well, it was in the early 2000s. I got every one of them at discount. So evidently they were priced pretty high to start with, because for so many to wind up on discount, they didn't sell very well. But these things are pretty awesome. I mean, the sculpting on these and the overall quality is pretty amazing. And I'm going to start out here. I'm going to show you all these, of course. But the smaller ones, I managed to get 3 of these, and I don't remember exactly which source I got them from. It was probably either at Toy Liquidators or through a toy shop ad. But these were like really cheap. I mean, they were like $5, I think, is what I gave for them. And these are cold cast resin little statues. This is the Emer from 20 Million Miles to Earth. And I never took the ones that are packaged. I never took them out because they present pretty well in packaging, and you know, when that happens, I just leave them that way. Here's one of the Cyclops figures from Seventh Voyage of Sinbad. And you know, it's kind of glary and all, but hopefully you guys can get a good idea there. They look great if you did take them out, and you know, you could take them out of this and seal it back pretty easy if you wanted to display them that way, but I just left them in the package. No big deal. And then here's another one of the Cyclops figures from one of my favorite movies, Seventh Voyage of Sinbad. Dynamation by the great Ray Harryhausen. I'm going to try to get it to focus on one of these anyway. There we go. And now I'll show you these 8-inch figures. There are 8 of these. This is a complete set of them. And the only packaging they came with were these tags, which are pretty nice. They were attached to the leg or tail of one of the figures, you know, with a piece of plastic, like a plastic tie or whatever, that went through those holes there. But I'm going to show you all these. This is the Cyclops from Seventh Voyage of Sinbad. I mean, look at that. That's just so cool, and it's got some articulation. You can move the head around and the arms and the legs. And I keep him on one of my shelves in one of the bookcases. I keep my DVDs and Blu-rays, and he's always facing off against the dragon from Seventh Voyage, because that's the classic confrontation there, you know. Even though the dragon was too much for the Cyclops in the movie, but still, that's the way to go, you know. That's Godzilla versus King Kong. That's Thing versus Hulk. That's Cyclops versus Dragon. He's number 1 in the set. It's got the numbering there, and it's got a little dotted line there. I think maybe there might have been some kind of an offer where if you got the whole set, you could send off or something. I'm not sure. But anyway, that's the Cyclops. And let's see. The number 2 in the series is Talos. And this 8-inch Talos doesn't stand up great. I mean, he will on a completely smooth, level surface. There's no articulation in the legs, so you can't monkey with the weight distribution very much, but the arms are articulated. And he's holding this big sword there, you know, and let's see on the, yeah, it looks like they got a little something there on the ankle where in the movie they unscrewed that and they dumped all the his what was keeping him alive out, that molten stuff. That's from Jason and the Argonauts, of course. Here's the little tag that came with it. Great graphics on that. Real thick cardboard, glossy. And Jason and the Argonauts is another favorite. It's right up there with Seventh Voyage of Sinbad for me. Ray Harryhausen Film Library. And number 3 in that series is the Emer from 20 Million Miles to Earth. And he's articulated pretty well. You can move his arms below the shoulder. You can kind of swivel him, and the legs, you know, and the head, you can turn the head. And it's a great sculpt. And he's making a guest appearance because he lives in my custom play set called Rocket Ship to Venus. So, you know, I pulled him out to guest star in this little video. And here's the card. Of course, I kept it. I'm not going to throw away anything that cool. Just kept it in a drawer, you know. I figured I'd need it at some point. Or just want to look at it. And these are made of vinyl, soft vinyl. So they're not going to break, or, you know, if you drop them, they're not going to mess up. Pretty resilient. Let's see which one number 4 is. Number 4 is actually the Dragon. This is the biggest one in this. They call this the 8-inch figures, but he's much longer. You know, he's really big. Takes up a lot of shelf room, and this is a smaller one. The big box dragon is huge. And he's got some articulation as well. His legs, you know, you can move his legs around. Yep, brings back great memories of watching the movie several times. Saw that when I was a kid at the drive-in on a rerun. I mean, it came out in '58. That was before I was born, but they showed those, you know, on re-releases a few years later. And that's number 4 in the series. Number 5 is the Minotaur. Here's the Minotaur. Now, he doesn't stand up really well either, the way he's molded, and there's no articulation in the legs. But how you can make him stand up well is his arms are articulated and his head. The arm holding the big lance here, you can move that back so that kind of lean him back against the way the lance is there. And give you a better look at the sculpt there. That's the 8-inch Minotaur. All these are cool. And they display really well. And here's the card. Of course, that's from Sinbad and the Eye of the Tiger. He was powering the boat, the evil sorceress was after, was trying to beat the heroes, including the gorgeous Jane Seymour and Taryn Power, to their destination. And that's the Minotaur. And next, we have Kali. Now, Kali is from Golden Voyage of Sinbad. There's the little card. All of the Sinbad movies are great. I like Seventh Voyage the best, but the other two from the 70s are really good. And this Kali is spot on. She stands up okay. Not real great, but okay. There's not much articulation there, but still, it's a great sculpt. Really good figure. And let's see, number 7 is actually the Griffin. The wings are huge on this thing. And they're the back legs, I think. Yeah, you can move the back legs a little bit. But, this is a really large, imposing figure. Size of those wings. And of course, the Griffin is from Golden Voyage as well. Take a look at the tag there. Yeah, it's fun to just leave these tags displayed with them. Since it's the only packaging that came with them, it's fun when you put them on the shelf. Just leave the tags, just standing up like that by them. And the last one in this 8-figure set is the Centaur, the Cyclops Centaur. Nice figure. Got some articulation on that, the waist and the arms, and very nice. And most of these stand up really well. And here is, that's from Golden Voyage. Okay, that's all 8 of those. That's a great series. Now, there's only so much room, no matter how, seems like no matter how much room you use for display, you always need a lot more. So I've been displaying the Cyclops and the Dragon on my shelves, but the others I've just had bagged up, except for this guy. He's in the custom play set. But the others have just been, in a bag in a box, because just ran out of display room. Now here are some of the big boxed figures. These are much bigger scale, and they're really nice. They display well in the box, so I kept them that way. Here's the Talos. He's got his sword there. Of course, you got some glare here with trying to shoot a video, but in person, they display really well. There's the top of the box. And of course, Talos, is from Jason and the Argonauts. 12-inch figure. And strangely, this one says it's a limited edition 1 of 5,000. And the others don't have that sticker on there, so I'm not sure. I think maybe, I'm pretty sure they just ran 5,000 of these, and then they only had the stickers on maybe the first few. I'm not really sure. It doesn't really matter. I'm sure it doesn't affect market value, or let's see that Talos there, he's wanting to fall back. Main reason is because I've got a tablecloth on this table here, and if you stand the Talos on a smooth surface, like the top of a shelf or a table, you know, a hard smooth surface, he'll stand up. Here's the Emir boxed from 20 million miles to Earth. And these bigger figures are soft vinyl as well. Give you a look at that. And these are made in Japan. You still see these offered on eBay occasionally for sale from Japan, where the shipping is painful. Shipping cost. There's the Emir. And I keep these boxed ones on top of one of my bookcases. They look great, just displayed like that. Even the Kali, and the Kali here would look even better out, probably because of the swords. She's got a huge bunch of swords right there, and you can put them in her hands, you know, and that would look great for display too, but I just opted to keep it in the box. I'm mostly a men in box collector when I have access to nice packaging, you know, because to me the packaging really accentuates the toy. And I've got enough loose toys. I've got toys from the 60s, you know, and 50s, you know, like play sets and loose toys that that I had as a kid or that were on sale when I was a kid, and I got plenty enough loose toys to set up if I want loose toys. So stuff that has nice packaging, I usually take advantage of the packaging. And these look good. Okay, that's all I have. Now, they also made a lot of other figures, the big ones in the boxes. And the most spectacular ones probably are the big Cyclops and especially the big dragon. The big dragon is huge. And well, first of all, let me tell you what there's that Minotaur, see. First of all, let me tell you what I paid for these back in the early 2000s. They hadn't been out too long. Now, like I said, they were heavily discounted. And there was a store called Toy Liquidators that was actually part of KB Toys. And I used to go in there and buy discounted action figures a lot. And I got really lucky and found those 3 big box figures in there. And they were like dirt cheap. I mean, I could not believe it. I grabbed those things as fast as I could. And I would have gotten extra ones of them, but these were all they had. You know, there was a run on that. I mean, they were crazy for pricing them that way. I think they were like $8, $10, $12 a piece in that range. And I asked the girl at the counter if they had the big dragon and the big Cyclops. And she said they had just sold out of those. Somebody came in and bought them. She said they had like 2 of each, and somebody came in and grabbed them. And I said, well, how much was the dragon? And she said it was 20. So $20. And, you know, I'm so glad that I got what I got. But, you know, it always hurts when you think about what you could have gotten as well. And the Cyclops was like $15, I think, or maybe 12 or something like that. I mean, these things were priced ridiculously low. And as far as the 8-inch figures, the 8 figures in the soft vinyl here and just the tags, I bought those from an ad in the toy shop. Now, the younger people watching this video is probably not going to know what I'm talking about when I say the toy shop. That was a newspaper like ad zine. They had ads for old toys and trading cards and different kind of collectibles, but it was mostly toys, you know, like action figures and, you know, even play sets and stuff like that. But there were a lot of dealers that advertised in the toy shop that had surplus of newer things. And back then, these things were new. They had just come out, really. And there's a dealer that always had like full page ads in there called M&J Variety. And you can still see their ads on eBay. They advertise on eBay all the time. And they might still have some of this stuff, but it's going to be at today's prices, not then prices. But they had like the whole set. I bought the whole set of 8 of these things. And I think the price was like $30 or something like that for all 8 of them. I mean, it was insane how cheap they were. And I should have gotten more. I should have gotten more. I mean, the money's always limited. You always kind of wrestle with yourself. Well, do I go ahead but you got to eat, you got to pay the bills, and life gets in the way. But anyway, I had to get these for my collection. I'm so glad that I grabbed them back then. Now I'm going to tell you what they sell for these days. On eBay, which is mostly where you see them, the big box figures, they vary quite a bit depending on which figure it is. If the packaging is in nice condition, like I saw somebody had this collie listed on eBay. I checked the eBay listings before I did this video, and they want like over $250 for it. And then you got shipping, and then you got tax, and then you got tax on shipping, and it just ends up being a ridiculous amount of money. This Emir probably in the $100 range, I think, maybe 75 if you get lucky, maybe up to 150. The Talos, maybe around 100 to 150. And the 8 figures with the tags are usually in the $40 to $50 range. The dragon is probably going to be more than that because it's so big and it's so iconic for collectors. Maybe 60, 75 bucks, maybe more, I don't know. That is with the tags. If they didn't have the tags, it would be somewhat less. But the cold cast figures are what you mostly see listed for sale, these small ones, and there are several different ones. These 3 here are nothing compared to the variety of these cold cast figures. And you can generally get them, fairly cheaply compared to the rest of this stuff. Maybe if you get real lucky, maybe around $10, probably more like 15 or 20, and sometimes more than that on some of the figures that are harder to find. So that gives you an idea, if you do want to go after this stuff, what some of the aftermarket prices are for it. And these are great, man. They look great on the shelf. I can recommend them, and I'm so glad that I managed to grab what I did back when I got them on discount. And I hope you enjoyed this video. And I will have more monster goodness coming up.